You had a lot of friends let you down during the time when you're opening Club de Bâle.
We are a place, when you come in, you have to feel like that you are home.
What advice would you give to people?
Yeah, he was always positive.
Yeah.
The glass was always half full. He had a vision. And I knew he would be a success. I knew it,
You never know someone's story.
The idea of the club was always the same.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Levels of Life podcast. Today's guest is Daniela Spillmann. Now, she's a quite notable name in the town of Basel, had a fashion industry boutique brand for about 25, 30 years, and now we're currently videoing at this beautiful Club de Bâle that she opened up around 10 years ago. Incredible story about how she started the fashion industry. She comes from quite a famous family. Her uncle was a famous fashion designer, sorry. And she tells us the story about how she got to where she is, how she runs the prestigious Club de Bâle, which is the only members business club in Basel. She talks about the experiences or the setbacks, how she got to where she is, how she thinks and deals in the hospitality section. And she was great. She's great to speak to. It was a really, really good interview, and I hope you all enjoy it. No, so Art Basel was busy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And so the restaurant was full, and you had a lot of events from
The
artists.
terrace was full.
Yeah,
because they obviously don't go to the restaurant. They don't like it as much in the restaurant because the terrace is huge.
Yeah,
We have space for about 100 people.
Okay. Yeah.
So they had it was like always cocktails. It wasn't a dinner. Like
Yeah.
we had several dinners, but that's about 20 persons or something like that. But if you have a group, if you have a gallery who comes in and out, it's like a apéro, how we call it here.
Apéro.
And they come and they stay and they drink something and they go. People, they change. It's an exchange. So it's more, yeah, I like it because you don't have to stay for a long time. You come in, even when I'm invited.
Yeah.
I love this. You don't have to sit for hours. It's just a come in, you talk with people. If it's interesting, you stay longer. You can go and come whenever you want.
So that's what you ran, yeah. Did you go to Messeplatz? Did you see the?
I went on Monday or Tuesday. Yes, I went, but I didn't went to this vernissage.
Okay.
The vernissage is always on, I think, Wednesday, and all the people are coming. It's crazy.
So it's too busy. Yeah.
Yeah, I made that for years and years.
We call you a Basler, yeah? So
yes.
you've Art Basel since it started, so you know all about it.
And I knew, we had so much work, so I stay here and I work. For me, it's easy. I like it more staying here than going there and chattering without reason.
Yes, exactly. Just for socializing.
It's nonsense.
Yeah, correct. This building is quite special and famous for your family and for Basel, the city.
Yes.
So your father, Henrik, did he buy this building?
That was my grandfather.
Your grandfather, okay, yeah.
It was my grandfather, but with the money from my grandmother.
Okay.
We always had strong women in our
So
family.
it's running the family, yeah.
Yes, and she came from Germany.
Okay.
My how do you say that, grandmother? The mother of my grandmother.
Yeah, so we say great grandmother.
Great grandmother. Yeah. She was from nearby, from Effring and Kirchen, and she was married 3 or 4 times. Okay. She was a very strong woman. Yeah. And at least she was married to a Mr. Ehler. And she owned very much of countryside. Yes.
A lot of land, yeah.
And when she sold that, and then my grandmother get some money, and the sister from my grandmother, they bought like a castle in Switzerland. And my grandmother, she married this Mr. Spillmann.
Mr. Spillmann, yeah.
Yes, and then they bought this house and they built it a new house. It was now, if you see, we only have Rheinsprung, that's the address.
Yes.
1 and 5.
Okay.
And it was 135, of course.
Originally, yeah.
That time. So they just bought it and they started working because my grandfather was a very creative confiseur, how we call it in Basel. He created cakes and he was in writing on the cakes. He was absolutely perfect. He stood, here was his bakery down here.
Yeah, I saw that he originally had the Leckerli, that's the famous biscuit. So before it's now, he started that or he took it over.
I think the Leckerli, I really don't know the story of the Leckerli because this is everybody wants to be the creator of the Leckerli. So I just don't. I'm not sure of that.
Yeah.
And but he created several things like orange chivré, citron chivré. She was always my grandfather and grandmother. It was only the Spillmann's coffee house and Schieser.
And Schieser,
and these two were always
competing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was great.
Yeah.
They were kind of friends, but kind of, they were fighting. When one said, I was the creator of something, the other one said, no, it was my thing. And it was great at this time.
Healthy competition.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
And then my grandparents, they were just here and they lived up there and they had 4 children.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And from these 4 children, the most known from these 4 children is not my daddy. My daddy was the youngest. It was Fred Spillmann.
Okay, your dad was Fred.
Yes, he was a couturier.
Okay.
He was a designer, how we say today. He was very known in Basel and he was very known outside from Basel also. He made clothes and wardrobe for theaters and ballet and he had kind of good clients, women who just, he was like a genius.
Yeah.
And he lived not for the money. When he had money, he was spending like.
That was your Uncle Fred.
Yes.
Because I've seen he's had some dresses you have in the Basel Museum that you can actually see.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was in the Historical Museum. Yeah. Because he went to Berlin first when he was 16. And when he came back, he had black hair. He was blonde all the time. He had black hair. He was, with makeup and everything at that time.
So a long time ago.
100 years ago.
Yeah.
What I mean, it was just my grandfather. He nearly died when he got him from the station. He didn't recognize his own son.
Yeah, okay, that would have been tough.
And but he was, and then he came back from Berlin. He went to Paris to Schiaparelli. She was a good designer, from Paris. Then he couldn't agree with this Schiaparelli because he knew his line. He was like a little bit. They are stubborn because they want this to be like that, and dresses and women like that with hats, with shoes at that time. So he came back to Basel and he opened his own. It was it wasn't a store at this time because it was salon, how we call it.
Yeah. So like a lady will come in there and be like, I want something designed or a dress.
Exactly.
And he will fit her. And that was the brother to your father?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I saw that you've said that like your father was an important upbringing for you growing up. He was like your best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my daddy, he was always positive.
Yeah.
He saw the things always, the glass was always half full and not half empty. Yeah. And that was really something. When I tried, I was always a little bit crazy. And I tried things in my life. And he was the one who always told me, try it. You can come back. We are here as parents.
Yeah.
If you fail, you can come back, but try something special and go out and try things. And that's why I tried this. Now I'm like a gastronomic worker.
Yeah.
And I was before I was a designer also for clothes, and I was a mother of 4 children. And I was working as a, how do you say that, surgery,
dental assistant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And So I always changed because when I knew I can't do this, it bored me kind of. So I started new things, which really, which I had to work for it and to look after and really to learn how this profession goes. Even when I started in this club, it was a restaurant, how do you call, and I was working with the service. I was looking in the kitchen. What are they doing for that? At the end, you have this plate before you, but the work before, what does it mean to have this plate with everything around, the glass filled with wine or water, whatever? And I think this is always a challenge. Correct. I always look for challenges.
You always wanted to improve yourself and learn.
Yes.
Was it because you had 2 kids, 2 from the first marriage and 2 from the second?
Exactly.
And was that all while you were running your fashion boutique store? Because you had that for 25 years, 30
years.
Yeah.
No. I was married to a journalist.
Okay, yeah.
And then I was a house mother.
Yes. Yeah.
I had 2 little children.
Yeah.
And it nearly killed me.
Because you were staying at home. It was
yes.
Just, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Without nothing. Before I went, I played in the theater. I was on the radio station. I made kind of things on the radio station and I worked like that. I was in a little theater playing always every week. And it stopped
when you had kids.
When I had kids.
Yeah.
I was like a little bit on the countryside out of nowhere. Yeah. And I thought my life is now, it's finished. Really.
Yeah, no, I believe you.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Okay, so you...
And so I discussed with my husband. And he said, why are you moaning? Because, you have a wonderful life. You don't have to work. And I always wanted to work.
Yeah.
And then I started to sell like machines with vapor, with high pressure.
Okay.
Which you can clean all the things, the furniture, everything with this. And I went with this little machine. I went from house to house and I sold these things because I wanted to do something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then you had, for whatever reason, that first marriage, you raised the kids and then you finished, you went your separate ways. And then you met your second husband?
Yes.
And is that when you started?
No, I started before because I was always knitting when I was at home and I made sweaters.
Yeah.
And I sold them to all my friends and to my neighbors. They had to buy this stuff,
Yeah.
And when I met Norbert, I was about 28, 29.
Okay.
I was very young still.
Yeah.
And when I met him in the mountains of Switzerland, he was German. So at the first, I stood here in Basel with the 2 kids because it wasn't that easy. You have 2 kids and you have a father. And then I moved to Frankfurt. And I stayed 5 years in Frankfurt. So I did not work there because I had 2 other kids. 4.
So, these are the next 2 from your second husband. Okay.
The twins.
The twins. Tim, there was ex-Premier League star.
Absolutely.
And your daughter that has a fashion brand now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we came back, I opened my first boutique, a little store. And that's where I started like professionally,
Yes, okay.
It was, that was the step when I went into this profession of fashion.
Okay.
And then I started. It was always, with, I had a really deep relation with my uncle. And so I was always in fashion. I knew what it was because I was walking on his fashion show, the Basel, when I was young.
Yeah.
And he was kind of my second father because he knew that I was a little bit crazy also. And he liked that. He loved that. And he was a very intelligent type. And I loved to sit with him and talk and discuss about beauty and about people, how they are dressed and how they look for themselves.
Okay.
And how you express yourself with clothes. with things that you wear.
Okay.
And so I was always interested in this fashion still.
Still to now. Yeah.
Yes, still to now.
No, it's obvious. You always look elegant when we see you.
Yeah, in my age, you don't have to wear, you have to always dress in your age.
Okay.
10 years more and 10 years less.
Yeah.
But I cannot wear a skirt like, short, like a 20 or 30-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And I think you have to look at yourself how you are. And when I had this shop, my main thing was to dress women. That's a passion.
Yeah.
And to really, not what I like, to look at this woman and to realize what she is, how she moves, how she talks, in what kind of situation in life she is. And then you dress her.
Okay.
And you help her to express herself and to be safe in this dress. And that's something still today. You could put me in a store and I sell whatever you want.
So you could.
Yes.
So you were a good seller.
Absolutely. I'm a salesman, a saleswoman.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Even here.
Yeah.
Because this is always the emotional part. You have to, if you talk with somebody and you want to sell him something, then you have to look at this the one who is in front of you without value.
Okay.
You don't value if it's good or bad. That's not the reason. You just look at this person and you realize what she is or he is, how she moves, how she talks, how she explains herself. With kind of questions, you really get deeper.
Yeah.
Without that the other one recognizes.
Okay.
And then you know this person, you look a little bit behind this person. And then you can sell something to this person which makes her happy.
Okay.
You don't sell yourself.
Okay.
It's always a product that you sell to make the other one's life, let's say, better, easier,
enhanced,
nicer, whatever. And you don't sell yourself, you don't cheat.
Of course, yeah.
You have to be sincere and honest. And that's my like now.
Yeah.
Now you listen what I say. I sell you something. It's like something that I learned in my life.
Correct. Yeah.
And one of my main things in my life were, or is still, not to value people.
Not to value people in a sense of putting them
value,
higher, or
if you give them a value, I take them as they
are.
I don't say, oh, look at she is. No, come on. How she
You're
is.
not judging by the
judging, yes.
Yeah.
That you give her a value. And how we say here in Switzerland, I don't say she's good or he is good or bad or nice or beautiful or not. Of course, if somebody is very beautiful, I tell him, I say, she looks so amazing. For me, it's a pleasure. But my interest is only to really recognize somebody. This is my interest.
Yeah. Obviously, like, the sales advice is great, but I also think from your character, people want to buy from you as well. That is a fact. I know you said you don't sell yourself.
Yeah.
But I think indirectly, being who you are and your presence, someone's going to go to your store over the next store.
You can give advices. You can say, I see it like this. I see you like this and this and this.
Okay.
That's my impression. But then the point is that you let loose.
You be yourself.
Let the other one be. If he tells you, no, I'm absolutely different.
Okay.
And you, deep inside you know the character who is sitting in front of you. And the other one says, no, I'm 2 meters high and I'm sportive, and he is thin like that. Then you say, oh, I see. Yes. Then you let him.
Okay.
Because it's not in my, I don't give myself, I hope you understand that, the permission to how do you say that, to value the other one. I only can say value myself.
Okay.
This is the most difficult in life.
To learn.
Yes. To be.
And I think you're kind of saying to value yourself or to love yourself or who you are.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. That's what you're.
Of course.
Yeah.
Love is a big word. It's kind of, you have to accept, and even if you like yourself, it's a huge step. It's a big step.
Correct. Yeah.
Even if you get older, if you get weaker, you like this. I always say, when I'm getting older, and I like it because my brain is getting more and more quiet, and I'm happy. I don't have to run anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a process in every kind of phase of your life. And I don't moan about my age. Never. Mm-mm. But I don't want to be like a 40, 50-year-old woman who runs around, who wants to be, with lips like that.
Yeah.
It's not my sense of life. It's not my sense of life. Everybody else can do what they want. But I choose not to be like that.
Okay.
Yes.
So you started out with, you had a different mentality when you were younger. So I'm younger now. What would you think would be a good advice if you could talk to yourself back when you were 25, 26, or just opening up your boutique store at 28?
Yeah, I always told my kids, try everything.
Yeah.
And even, we live in a kind of life with much alcohol, much drugs, addictions. And if you look to an interview from Tim, he was a real known football player here in Switzerland and in England. And he told his story that with 16 years, he was lying under the bridge somewhere on the Rhine board.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
He drank too much, and he tried, he smoked kind of things. And he was one of the only football player who really talked about that.
Yeah, and be honest.
And I think it was great for me. Of course, people came to me and said, oh, we didn't know that your son is well like this and that. Yeah. And I said, yes, it was like that.
Yeah.
But he went over. He tried everything, and he decided to say, no, I don't, that's not my thing. That's not my goal to end up every weekend drunk in a corner of this town. And I said to him, because drugs for me was kind of, poor. It made me panic.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how to manage.
Correct.
Because it wasn't, even when I was younger, about 20 years, when I was 20 years old, I had friends who were in drugs, but I never was.
Yeah.
I did not know how to manage this with my beloved children.
Yeah.
That was something which I was really lost. I was panicked, and I said, if you take once, you don't come back to this house. And then what happened? Of course, they tried. Not every, but kind of. And then I said, okay, I have to let them try what they want and to decide their lives. It's not that easy. Because if you have kids, you always want the best for them, and you tell them, listen, you do like this, and then you marry and children, and one for quiet and without problems, and like that. That would be for me the best thing.
Situation, yes.
But now I have kids who are not running like that.
Yeah.
They try it like the mother.
Correct, yeah.
And then I said, yes, that's nice. Sometimes it really bothers me, and I think, well,
yeah.
But it's not my problem anymore.
No, okay, so yeah.
I have to let them
live their life.
Yes.
But do you also think that it's the challenges and the difficult situations that you have is what makes you stronger? Like if you had a perfect upbringing and there was no difficulties, and then I've seen this with people that had a great life, their parents have done everything for them, and then they have one difficult situation and they just crumble.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like a balance of you want to give your kids the best, but also try and give them a long leash so they fall over themselves. Yeah.
Because if they fall down, it's important how they stand up. And best is if they fall down, they stand up on her own. As parents, you can give them a hand when they are young.
Yeah.
To stand up and give them solutions.
Yeah.
Give them several solutions, not only one, because my solution is not the one for the other.
Okay.
The right one, you know. But you can give them a hand to stand up, but after a while they have to stand up on her own.
Okay.
Then they are strong and success, and if you fail and everything, that makes you. That makes your character. That makes you calmer and your spirit and your empathy. You learn when you fall down, when you fail, you learn the most.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, it's like that.
Yeah.
And then if somebody fails, if this somebody is in your circle of friends, or you can feel, or you can have a kind of sense or feeling, empathic feeling, how he feels. And then you can talk, you can't save people, but you can talk with them, and you can say, I know how it feels when you lay down and you have problems and like that. But you can't, they have to solve.
They have to save themselves.
Absolutely. To solve their problems on their own. But you can give them a hand.
Yeah.
But it's not your problem.
Yeah, okay. How did you go from, so you had your fashion design boutique, and then we're at Club de Bâle right now. So it's, well, how did you think of this idea with your husband? I know you had a partner that you opened it with. What made you think and decide to have a prestigious club like this in Basel? Like, how did that change?
It's that's another story, really. Yeah. I met Matthias Müller. Who was who made Balois session very big with Beatrice Stiernemann, the partner of this Balois session. And he was my friend, you know. I met him, and one day he said, listen, Daniela, you are crazy as me, and why don't we start a club? Because Basel has no business club.
Yeah, sure.
And I said, what is that? And he explained, and I said, yes, I agree. I go with you. Yes, that's 100% a new thing. Yeah. We try this. And then we started with 6 other people.
Okay, yeah.
Very good people, business people. I was the only woman. Yeah. And we just started this club. And we had several, we sit together. What does it contains, this club? Yeah. It has to be somewhere in town. It has to have a restaurant, a bar, an outside area, some places where people can meet and have, business together and this and that.
Okay.
You can reach them by car, by tram, like. And then we were looking around and in several places here in Basel, or a little bit outside from Basel. And then my brother-in-law at the same time said he stops running this restaurant because it was an open public restaurant.
And it was your sister's husband.
Yes.
They were running a restaurant.
Yes.
Before. Okay, yeah, I read that right. Yeah.
It was a public restaurant, not high quality, but it was always filled, and he worked, and he was 65. He said, I stop. I don't want to work anymore. But his son, I was working with him, and Stefan, it's Stefan.
Yes.
Told me he doesn't want to run this restaurant like that. It was 140 places, and it was
busy.
Full. Yeah. Really, it was an odd business. And so I said to my, to the club members, club owner,
the club
owners.
Yeah.
I said, why don't we take this restaurant? And they were absolutely.
They were for it. Yeah.
Go for it. And so it wasn't that easy. And because my sisters told me, listen, we have to build we have to investigate much money. Because it was sorry. Because we have, it was very old and and in Basel, it's not so easy to have a club because Basel don't need a club. And so that was for me perfect, because when I have to fight for something, that's when
your character comes out. Yeah.
And so I went to Stefan and told him, listen, won't you be, we plan to have this club here in this building. And we closed the restaurant. We made boutiques in front and the entrance in the back. And we just built everything new. Here it was only cellar. It was nothing. And don't you want to be the manager of the club?
You asked Stefan?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I knew if I have Stefan with me, he knows the house. I have my sister on my side,
Yeah.
And he said, yes, I will.
Okay.
And then that's where it all started. And we made this club. It was 1 year we built this club. And right? It was really something, was like building a house,
Yeah, for sure.
Really, yeah. And then, here in Basel, the people, they nearly killed me because why does she close this public restaurant with this wonderful view and this wonderful terrace, and she makes a club? She's snobbish, she is this and that. And really, if something in this world, which is not true, that I am snobbish, I am really not.
Yeah.
I'm a working woman,
class lady,
and I don't like snobbish people. I can agree with them, but they're not in my inner circle. And then they wrote in the newspaper, this club is only for people who own so much money. And that wasn't the reason. We wanted to bring people together. Yeah. It's the emotional part, to bring people together. But it's a safe place where they can meet. They can make business if they want. They don't have to. It's not that you put your card
on the table,
on every table. This is sophisticated, It's not snobbish. You don't put your card on every table. You're not like very aggressive in business. You can sit here and eat quiet and without. It's like holiday sometimes.
Yeah, it's relaxing.
Yes. And so we opened that club where you had about 100 members. 100 members is not enough to run this club.
To make it profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but we were fighting. They came in and out, members in, members out. Stefan was the manager of the club. And I was the only woman. And after 2 years, Matthias Müller died. He had a cancer. So I lost my half, And I was like, what God I'm going to do? Because it was like the sense and the brain was away. And I was like this was a new business for me, absolutely new business. And I had my partners, of course. And I think 3 years ago, I bought all the actions back. And then I learned. I tried to learn here.
Okay.
I worked here. I really worked in the service, dogging, yes.
When you say you brought the actions back, do you mean that
the actions from all my partners?
All your partners.
Yes.
So you took
Yes.
over full
Yes.
control.
Yes.
Okay.
Except Tim. Tim is in the business with 13%, and I have the rest.
Okay.
And then I could decide, because if you have 5 or 6 partners, we were 5 or 6, it doesn't go
smoothly
further.
Or fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always like you turn in circle, because one says that, the other one says that. And I said, I want to have a women's membership, women who are alone or widows. And they would like to go outside and be in a safe place.
Yeah.
And, we make some kind of actions like for women only.
Yeah.
And then I said, we have to make like a membership which doesn't cost like 12,000 half. And they said, no,
Yeah.
Don't do that, because if you start that, everybody will come and say, yeah, I have a woman, you're my mother, and they come with their mother and whatever. And I said, who cares? If a woman is alone and she lives alone, she wants to go outside. She would love to go outside with her friends, with her family, whatever.
Because that's also how you felt when you were young. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Why? Because otherwise you only have man here.
Yeah.
Business club means we still live in this world of business, means often men.
Yeah.
And I wanted to interrupt this. I wanted to have women here in the club. And that was always kind of discussion for 1-2 hours, which
was wasting time for you.
Sense.
Yeah, it was obvious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I bought everything back, I was the one who decided. I was the one who was responsible of my decisions.
Yeah.
And that was really a good idea, because my partners are still in the club as members.
Yeah.
And if I need them for advices, they're always here.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of risk, because we were in this Corona time, and I had to spend money, invest a lot of money to buy all these things back. But I said, whether I close in this Corona or I take it all.
Okay.
That was
the options. Yeah.
2 possibilities. And I think that was a good decision
for you to make.
I still have these friends behind my back, and if I need them, I'm absolutely sure they stand by side.
Yeah.
And I have a keep, I have good people who are working for me, because I always engage people which identify themselves with this idea of the club.
Okay.
I always said, we are a place, when you come in, you have to feel like that you are home.
Okay.
It's like your home in town. It's as soon as you step in, they know your name, they know what you like to eat, they know what you like to drink, and you really have to learn that.
Yeah, over time.
And I only have people working for me who really learn that, who want to learn that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And I always said, we are not that important. You have your stage at the moment that you are in contact with the client, and then you have to go back and leave him,
Yeah.
That's a game.
Yeah, it's a balance.
Yes.
Okay.
And and this is only emotion, I tell you. That's like what we were talking before.
Yeah.
So if you go, of course, the food is perfect, because Manfred is a wonderful cook, and the whole keep in the kitchen, they are doing a perfect job.
Yeah.
And outside also, I have they are really more family, because I said, I want you to really identify with this idea of the club, not with me. You don't work for me.
Okay.
You work for yourself. People, they have to recognize you as a person who serves, of course, but you have a character. And if something happens, I'm standing here. But otherwise, I'm not that important.
You give them the freedom.
I'm in the background.
Okay.
Yes.
Just going back to the COVID time, because obviously as a female woman, businesswoman growing up, you would have had a lot of pushback from men.
Yeah.
And you had challenges. Your husband sadly passed away during COVID time, or 3 years?
No, it was my husband.
Oh, it was your part.
That was my partner.
Your partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And that was only 3.
Not my partner in life. No. Nobody passed away.
Okay.
My daddy passed away.
It was your dad.
Yes. Yeah. My daddy passed away when we were building this whole
during
thing.
This time.
And I said, you don't die now, because I have so much problems. He said, my flag is down. You know, how you say that in English? When the flag...
The flag is full. It's, yeah. The flag has been raised and it's coming down. Yeah.
Yes.
He's time
he said,
is up.
My flag is down. I said, you can't do this.
Yeah.
Now you don't die.
Yeah.
Because he had about 94 years. And I said, now, you know, I have so many problems. You're the only one which I can talk to. And you don't dare to die now. And then he said, okay, then it's half. The flag is half.
But hurry up. Yeah,
yes. Yeah. And then he said, okay, then it's half. Yeah. And he came back for 1.5 years, and then he really died. Yeah. But that was my daddy.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
Yeah. He was always, as you said, half glass full.
Yeah.
How do you overcome adversity feedback? I've read that you said you had a lot of friends let you down during the time when you're opening Club de Bâle. Yeah. People saying not nice things about you.
Yes.
But I think you've grown a tough skin, I'm assuming. What advice would you give to people for this?
That's what I meant when you fall down, or you get, or people talking about you not in a nice way. You learn the most. Yeah. And then you really realize you're good friends. And even if they were not in the club, they said, I cannot afford. That was, for me, sincere, and that was reality.
Yeah.
And but they were standing behind me. And the ones who just were talking about me, I learned something.
Okay.
I learned not to talk about other people. That's what I learned in that phase of my life, because sometimes I heard things about me. It happened once. I tell you this story.
Okay.
I was in my boutique working. Yeah. A woman came in and she said, yeah, I'm looking for some trousers or something. And I said, okay, we have this and that. And she said, yeah, the owner of that boutique is Mrs. Spillmann, isn't she? And I said, yes. And she said, yeah, I know her very well. And I said, oh.
Really?
Nice. Yeah, she had 4 kids from 2 men. I said, oh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah.
And that was so funny to me.
Yeah.
And she told me things about me
that you didn't even know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't talk about other people.
Yeah.
I don't judge other people like this. I can talk about other people. Or with my closest friends, I say, listen, don't bring me this person, because I really don't like him or her.
Yeah.
But I don't judge.
No.
I don't judge. Who am I?
To judge, yeah.
To judge other people.
It's true. You don't...
Yes.
You never know someone's story, or really, I sometimes hear things bad about me, but I was like, if they really knew me, I know who I am, you know who you are. I think that's the most important thing.
My idea of the club was always the same.
Yeah.
To create a place where people feel at home. That's the main reason.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to pay a fortune. I have to run this whole business.
Correct.
And I'm paying good. I don't earn, actually. I don't want to earn. I wanted to create a place where people feel at home.
Okay.
And they can make business or not, whatever. But when they come in, they are in a safe place.
Yeah.
Okay. That was always my main
Always your
reason.
goal.
Always.
Yeah.
And now people, after soon 10 years, they realize it's such a nice, we are feeling kind of really, it's something
special,
something, and now it comes back. Now the like a little success comes back. And in this process of this 10 years, I learned not to say, now you see, you all.
Yeah.
I say, oh, thank you very much.
You're humble.
Yes.
Yeah, you're very humble.
Yeah. That's what I learned of this whole story.
Yeah.
There are some people which I don't want in this club because I was counting on them 10 years ago.
When you needed the help, yeah.
Yes. And they are not welcome.
Yeah. Which is fine. You stood your ground. People want to join you when you're successful, but they don't want to help along on the way.
Yes.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah. With the members, you've obviously met all the members. You're very close with them. And for me, I think who you have around you in your inner circle ends up being who you become.
Yeah.
As a person.
Yes.
So it's I'm very strict now on who I have close to me because I realize that it rubs off on you. Your personality changes with someone.
Yes.
What have you learnt from being with? Obviously, you have to. It's not a cheap club to join. Yeah, it's people have been they're businessmen or from whatever they're successful in their field. What have you learnt from being around these type of people, and how has it changed you or made you grow?
You cannot change a character, in fact. But no, my behavior didn't change.
Yeah.
I'm an open-minded woman. And I take everybody when for example, 6 years or 7 years or 8 years ago, somebody came to me from Serbia.
Okay.
And he was, he ran a business, a chemical business. He started without nothing. And he told me about his plans. He was a student. He was handball player.
Yeah.
And he came to Switzerland. He came to Basel. So he studied here chemical science. And then he ran his first business. And then they just Höchst bought him out or whatever. It was how do you say that? Feindliche Übernahme. Okay. They threw him out.
They kicked him out. They bought it and then he kicked him out. Okay.
And so it came to me. I still remember this young guy, and he said, I run another business. I would love to be in your club. I didn't knew him. He came from Serbia. He was new in Basel. And I said, listen, but you cannot run around to give them your cards and to really be aggressive with that. And he said, no. And so I said, okay, because he was like me in that age. He was like, he had a vision. And he told me about his vision. And I knew he would be a success. I knew it, Yeah. And now he is very successful. He's still in my club. And I really took him. So I take people when he flashed me. Because he had nothing, actually. But he had a vision, which meant millions of dollars or coins or whatever.
Yeah.
And that I can permit myself to bring people in here in my four walls, in my safe walls, and I can bring people together.
Yeah.
And I always say, what the business you run, what is it exactly? And then I bring people together, and then I go out of the frame, how I always say.
Yeah.
And then they have to make their work.
Yeah.
It fits or it doesn't fit.
Correct.
Doesn't matter. But I bring, this is something, that was always my goal all my life. And on these kind of different levels, move on different levels. If somebody comes too close, keep your distance. I learned this in that club because I'm a woman and I have more men than something.
Yeah, for sure.
And you always get this level of man and woman. You know how this game goes.
Yeah.
It's charming and this and that, and I like it when I get compliments and when they say you look good, but until a certain point.
Level, for sure. Yeah. And it's not, I think people like your character. More looks, for me, looks are very important to how you present yourself. But then I think when you start talking to someone and you get to know them, that's when you really start to like someone, when they show their character. And
Absolutely.
And I think that's has to be a part of your success and why it's been successful here, is that you're a very open character, it's warm, and people they like you as well. I think you have to be a likable person.
I'm the soul of this club.
Yeah.
And one work that I have to do now is to get more and more in the background and to create another soul. Yeah. So I always have people who are characters who work for me. A person of identification, like Abdel. He was working for 45 years in the Kunsthalle, a very known restaurant here. And when he was retired, I just catched him because he is very known by people. Of course, he's an older guy.
Yeah.
I said, you are my concurrent.
Okay.
And Manfred, the chief cook, he comes out, he talks with people. He's my concurrent. But we are all on different levels. Yeah. And I said, when I remember when Manfred started, we were sitting and I said, you will be a star here. Even though you lose your star, he had a star. Yeah. And then he said, well, yes. And I said, you have to answer me one question. Do you want to be a star or not? Because it's not that easy. Yeah. You get judged by other people. They run after you. They try to really, get a bit of you. And you have to keep this distance, this game. And do you want this? And he said, yes, I want this. And now he is a star. Yeah, sure. And of course, it was a risk for me because I know several restaurants would like to have him. Yeah. But if they would have him, they would have me. Okay. And this combination of people together makes this kind of place, special place. And it's like a frame for a few years, and then you have sometimes to change this picture. Yes, okay. So now I realize that I'm full involved, and now I'm working for the next 5 years. I'm working to get in the background. Okay. But you have to create somebody which fills this position. Fills this hole, yeah. So I have Elena upstairs in the administration. She knows me since 15 years. She always worked
with you in the boutique store.
She is absolutely great, structured. She can, she has class, absolutely. Yeah. Then I have Manfred, who is perfect with people and food, and really, he's like a star. Abdel is a star. The chief of the service is. They are all stars. If they can manage not to be the only star.
Yeah, okay. So then it's personalities, egos, and keeping it all intact. Yeah. What do you see as, so for example, we're both younger, and this is something that is a great idea and something as a young person you strive to get into these environments to help you learn. You said your members are quite older, 40 plus, you said all your members are. I'm thinking, how do you see the future of this club? Like, where do you want it to go? Because everything's changing now. There's new people coming up. You've got older ones getting older. Exactly. What's your vision for this club? And how do you sustain the profitability of it? And what do you see how it's going to go?
That's why Tim is in this business.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to work in this business, but he is a young guy.
Yeah.
And he played, in England.
Norwich, he played Premier League.
Yes,
he was very
Norwich, and then he was at Bristol.
Bristol, yeah.
He was in Wolfsburg and wherever. And he is member of this Soho Club.
Yeah.
The how do you say that? The management or the main things are completely different from this club. How they run the Soho Club.
Yeah.
But I think I do not change my running gag, I say, my system. But if if it's Tim or Zoe or Manuel, I don't care. If it would be some of my kids, that's a lucky punch. If not, somebody else will come. I know that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you can change the whole system, not the whole, you don't turn it upside down, but you can change the system. For example, a youth membership.
Yeah.
For younger people.
Yeah, yeah.
So they have I don't know, they pay 3,000, they have free entrance or whatever. There are so many systems that you can put in. But this is not in my system. I keep on that. I hang on that, which I created with Matthias. And now it changes because now we are on a kind of little bit safe side. We have 160 members, and more or less it goes up, it goes down.
Yeah.
So this is the basic is okay. Is
your foundations are solid.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you can start to change things a little bit, not too much, but really to get younger people inside. And younger people, they cannot pay 12,000 a year. It's without any sense, because you don't eat for 1,000 francs a month here as young guy.
Yeah.
You eat perhaps for 300.
Yeah.
Or sometimes for 1,000, whatever. But you start your family, you start your business, you are new in the job, you are new. So this is something where younger people find they are more open to new systems, to new solutions. And I think I've done my work.
Okay.
I'm running, 67 years.
Yeah.
So now my main thing is now to get step by step back.
Yeah.
Step by step, that means not tomorrow, that means in a few years. Yeah. And I have to find a young one who says, I'm in love with that club. I want to manage this club.
Yeah.
And when he is strong enough, I'm a strong woman. If you ask, as strong as I am, then it works.
For sure.
Then you can change the whole things, for the younger people. And I know that younger people, they would love to come in.
For sure. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But it's not a huge place. It's not a Soho. You cannot make a Soho because it's tiny. It's little in a way. It of course it's it's not little, but it's little. And the quantity of people is really about 100. And then it's over.
Yeah.
And it's crowded with 100.
Okay.
And you want to keep your class. So this is like a new business.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. I think you want to keep the prestigiousness. You don't want anyone to just come here. Like for me, I think this is a place that you want to sort of earn it to come here. Like you don't want to just be given and say, hey, come join. It's easy.
Yeah.
I feel like people have worked hard to get here, to have this position, to spend this money, to join this club and have these facilities. So I think you have to have a price limit, I think, because it keeps the exclusivity, keeps it prestigious, and it is a beautiful club. Yeah. You've done a really great job. Yeah, it's motivating for a younger person when you come in here. I understand your concept that you might invite people to have a look, and I think as a young person, it's motivating. You'd love to be around like-minded people. You want to work hard to achieve this type of success. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a good motivation for younger people that want to live a certain life and have a success. And to come here to experience that briefly, I think it's really positive. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you've done a really great job.
Yeah. And I think the younger, I make like open day. I make like every year like a cocktail for Matthias Müller. And then nice. I invite younger people, which are not all members.
Correct. Yeah.
So they see the club. You have to really open a little bit the door.
Yeah.
And friends of Tim or Manuel or Leah or Zoe, my kids, they are always welcome. When they want to make a birthday party, they take the club exclusively. Yeah. And of course, they are between 35 and 42. Or 45, they already earn.
Yes.
And they like quality and they like special places.
Yes.
And I think the future is bright for this club.
For sure.
It's really, yes. And of course, I don't want to disturb the peace which is in that club with an open door.
Yeah.
Because if you let people, I have things around here from my uncle, from laying around like which if you would make it like public, this will all be stolen, really.
Yeah. No, it's a reality. Yeah.
Because I have pictures, drawings from my uncle here in the fumoir, which are open.
This is just not. It's not just a facility. It's your home. It's a part of your home for sure. So it's something you want to cherish through generations.
Mm-hmm.
No,
it's a special place, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is.
I think it'd be nice to finish up on. I'd want to ask you, what, if you look back at the whole journey, your time, what is maybe one piece of advice that someone's told you, or that you've learned from maybe your father or your uncle or one of the business members here, that's really you remember, something that resonates with you?
Yeah, that's my father.
Yeah.
My father was in every situation of his life, even if it went good or bad. He said, in the bad times, you learn the most. So don't be sad. And he was always a person who was content with himself. I had a mother who came from a very rich family. And then when her daddy died, she earned very much.
Yeah.
And normally in this how do you say, cycle,
situation?
In this year of what do you say, in this century,
Yeah.
the man got the money.
Yeah.
And my father said, no, I don't want this money, because money don't bring luck. If you don't know the value of $1, and if you didn't work for that, then you don't know the value, and you don't keep it. You spend it like mad. And that was something. I lived a really good life, but not a luxury life.
Okay.
And we could have had a luxury life, but we lived a normal life. And when I washed the car of my parents, I earned 5 francs.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of that.
Yeah.
And he learned me that the most important things in life you cannot buy. And that's what I learned from my father. And that was guided me through my whole life. Yeah. If somebody comes in and spends money like mad, it makes an impression for me, whether it's good or bad, but it doesn't change me.
Yeah. It doesn't change your influence or opinion you have.
And I had phases in my life where, when I spent money like mad, when I saw a Hermes bag, I wanted to buy this Hermes. I bought this Hermes bag, but at the end, it didn't make me happier.
Yeah.
But when I have kids and I have family and I have speech like you with a young man who has a business running, you try to make something very special and you fight for that. You ring that door, you come in and you say, can I do? And this is not easy, to clean the house doors and to come in and say, can I have an interview, whatever. And I look at you and say, who is it? Who is he? What does he want? Yeah. It's not easy, but you have a vision. You want something. You have a goal. And I love people who are like that. And that has nothing to do with money at all. And I said to my daughter, you will be the youngest, Zoe. Yeah. She makes fashion, and she is really she has her vision. She doesn't earn money like that. I said to her, you will be the richest member of our family at the end. Yeah. Because you learn how to manage with money. Yeah. And even Tim, he earned like mad.
As a professional footballer, sure.
Yeah. And he lived, and all the other kids, Manuel and Leah, we just love to see him earning money.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, he could give me something. No, that's his work. He did his good work. They all earn money. They are all, I think, happy up and downs. We all have. But that's one thing which really is like a red thing through my life. Money is nice. If you can eat, if you can sleep, you have a house, a roof
over your head.
Your head. Wonderful. If we see all those people, who are homeless and they have to live in another country, and so we are really pleased. I'm really a pleased person. Yeah. But money is not. You can't buy friendship. You can't buy health. You can't buy, a good feeling. All the important things you cannot buy. No. Of course, you can buy friends, but they are not friends.
Temporary. Yeah. Yeah, they're temporary friends.
That's the thing which I learned from my father and from my uncle. When he had money, he spent it for party or something.
Yeah.
He was always, when he died, he had nothing. Yeah. But he had so much.
Yeah. He had memories, and I think
all these things from play.
Yeah. And I think the money, I agree with you. money can create memories too.
Yes.
If you use it correctly and you respect it. Yeah. I understand that you appreciate money more when you work for it, as you said, instead of just being given it to you. Yeah. No, that was a really nice way, I think, to finish. Yeah, it was really good. No, thank you, Daniela, for the time. It was,
you're always welcome here.
Yeah, no, thank you. Hey,
the door is open.
The door is always open. It was great.